My name is Johnson. I was just an ordinary guy in his 30s working a 9-to-5 job in the city. Now I'm working at a factory in a remote place in rural Nebraska where even buses rarely come. Why am I talking in the past tense? Well, up until last month, I was working hard in a prestigious office building in New York City and was on the fast track to success. Everyone believed I was going to make it big, and I had no doubt that I'd be in an executive position one day. However, I had a rival. His name was Mike, and he and I were always competing for the top sales spot. I thought we could have a friendly rivalry, thinking we could build a good relationship. But Mike didn't see it that way. To him, I was just an obstacle he wanted out of the way. So he set me up. He pinned a huge mistake on me. Even though it was later discovered to be a misunderstanding, the trust I had once earned was lost. Gradually, everyone began distancing themselves from me, and the boss only favored Mike. Before I knew it, I was transferred to this backwoods factory in Nebraska. On paper, I'm the factory manager, which is a respectable position, but it's still a demotion. Honestly, it was a shock. Factory managers who are transferred from the HQ only get bad reputations. Plus, I have no experience in factory work, so I can't do my job properly. I was labeled as a problematic boss who was transferred because of issues in the main office. Sigh. I returned to my company-provided house with a heavy heart. The pay isn't too bad. Being a factory manager and living in company housing means I can save more money. But the sense of fulfillment is gone. Every day, I just bow to the experienced factory workers and try to handle tasks I've never done before without any guidance. Honestly, it's tough, and I've thought about quitting. But if I quit, it would mean that I lost to Mike. I absolutely hate that thought, so I'm clinging to this job. But I must have been really tired. I realized I left my front door unlocked. Darn, I forgot to lock it. There's nothing valuable in my place to steal, but still, I was careless. I went inside thinking that I should be more careful. But what I saw was beyond my wildest expectations, a real shocker. Lo and behold, there were a woman's shoes, just thrown off haphazardly. Not just that. There's a washing machine right next to the entrance, and some woman's clothes were carelessly thrown over it. It looked like she was going to put them in the machine but got distracted halfway. And beyond the washing machine, in the corridor, are they stockings, laid out almost like signposts. Seeing the women's clothes, I hurriedly checked my apartment number. Did I get the wrong room? But no, this is definitely unit 305, the one I'm renting. What the heck is going on? Confused, I stepped inside and suddenly exclaimed, "Whoa!" In the bathroom area, a woman was lying down. I couldn't understand what was happening. I checked the apartment number again. No mistake. This is my apartment. And the woman, was she unconscious? No, she seemed asleep. Why was a woman sleeping here? Anyway, I can't just let someone lie here, or I might be suspected of something. I thought so, but then I was like, wait, what? I realized something right there. Her face was extremely pale. She's breathing heavily and seems to be in pain. The moaning woman showed no sign of getting up, so I cautiously approached her. She looks to be in her early 20s. She seemed familiar. Maybe she works at the same factory as I do. Upon a closer look, her face is pale, yet she appears to be burning up. Touching her cheek, it's scorching hot. She seems to be really unwell, probably running a fever. When one has a fever, they can feel out of it, and she probably tried to change and collapsed midway. I've experienced it before. When you have a fever, every ounce of energy goes into resting. I remember coming home, only washing my hands, and collapsing on my bed. I covered her with my jacket and then gently shook her shoulder. "Hey, are you okay?" Despite the chaos earlier, I was surprisingly calm now. She looked so young to me. There are no teenagers working at our factory. So, I knew she's in her 20s, but she looked so young that she could easily be mistaken for a college student. Seeing her in that state, I was more concerned about her well-being than anything else. Especially given that she couldn't even recognize that she was in the wrong room. She must have been really ill. If she had been dressed, I would have called an ambulance without a second thought. After calling out to her several times, she finally came to. She looked at me, dazed, and our eyes met. Why is the factory manager here? This is my room. It's a bit awkward for me like this." When I pointed it out, she slowly grasped the situation. "Oh my God, can't blame her. I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble." "You okay? You seem to have a fever." As I worried, asked the woman, now known as Mary, about what happened. She said her room was 205. She probably got on the wrong floor when she took the elevator, and being dizzy from the fever, she entered my room, which I had forgotten to lock. The apartment complex has the same layout for everyone, and neither Mary nor I leave much of anything in the hallway. So, tired Mary took a short nap without noticing the change in the room. It seems that Mary entered my room about 10 minutes before I got back. I thought she had passed out, but she was just taking a break. "I'm really sorry. I can't believe I..." "Do you want me to call an ambulance? You seem pretty out of it." No, I don't want to cause any more trouble. It's just a cold, and calling an ambulance seems a bit much." She tried to stand up, but she was wobbly and unsteady. "You live alone in the apartment complex, right? I can't send you home alone at night in this condition. You don't have to if you don't want to, but maybe you should rest a bit." Given her unsteady state, even Mary herself felt the danger. She decided to take a break in my room. It is understandable to be nerve-wracking if you are in a stranger's room when you wake up. I don't have any ulterior motives, but to help her relax a bit, I placed my cell phone right in front of her. I didn't take any photos or anything like that. If you're worried, you can check the saved photos. It's okay. That sounds even more suspicious. Chuckling awkwardly, I handed her a thermometer to check her temperature. It read 102 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a high fever. She might need to rest as soon as possible. I decided to take her home as her dizziness subsided and she became a bit more lucid. "It's just one floor below, though." "Thank you so much. I'll come by to thank you properly another day," she said politely before heading back to her room. To me, she seemed young. Well, anyone in their 20s would seem young to someone in their late 30s like me. She appeared to be putting on a brave face, and I worried that she might be pushing herself too hard. That incident left a strong impression of her on me. A week later, on my day off, Mary came to visit my apartment. She brought a box of cookies as a gift. I wanted to apologize for the trouble. "No worries. It was an emergency situation. Are you feeling better now?" "Yes, thanks to you. Turns out it was just a cold. Please take care of yourself too, Johnson." She said so and left. It wasn't really appropriate to invite her to stay and chat, as she was just recovering from being ill. But from that point on, my rather gloomy life began to change for the better. Every time when Mary saw me at the factory, she greeted me cheerfully with a big smile. "Hi, Johnson. How are you today?" Apparently, she had always been a bit hesitant to talk to me because I always seemed so busy and stressed out. But now, it seemed she started trusting me more. And thanks to Mary's approach, the way the rest of the staff treated me also began to change. Especially the seasoned workers, their attitude towards me did a complete 180. This factory, somewhat reminiscent of a small factory in a rural area, had